Okay, awesome, Manav. I think we can start. It's 4 sharp. Let's not wait another minute. In the interest of everyone's time. Folks, quick housekeeping rules. Please switch on your videos. Really helps the speaker connect with all of you. So the format of this session is going to be a little different as compared to other sessions, which were more knowledge based. This session with Manav is more of a fireside because we want to keep it as interactive as possible. Manav is going to talk about his and draw out his experiences building Moksha homes. You have a question, please raise your hand. We will be taking questions while we have the session. Yeah, that's pretty much the ground rules. I will quickly introduce Manav here and then give him over to introduce himself as well. Um, Manav is one of the most interesting founders we could have chosen to chosen to close this week out because he did exactly what every founder in this room is trying to do. He built Demoksha homes globally first, US, Canada, UK, Australia. Bet everything on sustainability and craftsmanship at a time when nobody was paying a premium for Indian home decor globally. And before Moksha has a very interesting background. He spent 25 plus years in media and entertainment as Group CEO of SAB Group. And what differentiates this session is that this is not just an enabler speaking from an outside POV. This is a founder like you who's speaking. And this really lends to your journey. And maybe if you want to build something and scale your brand one day, I think Manav's journey is something you can hope to emulate. Welcome to GRP Rice Cohort, Manav, and thank you so much for doing this with us. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, lest I've missed something.
I'll keep it brief, yeah. Hi, I'm just one more founder like all of you, trying to do my bits in the journey. Uh, like you said, I'm from media background originally, about 25 long years. I've worked in TV and movies and digital, originally the creative side, then in the business side for a long time, all for almost 18, 17 years. And one fine day, something bit my Mickey. I lost my mind, and my wife and I quit our jobs. Who's a former banker and then joined media, and we began Demoksha at the cusp of the national lockdown, COVID lockdown. We didn't know it was going to come, and it's been almost 6 years now. Very gratifying, and we began with one intent, which was to establish a global Indian home decor brand. How and why we can go into it later on, as we discussed with the journey, if it all has a purpose for today's conversation. And then 6 long years, we've just launched India recently, and at it, yeah, learned a lot, learned immensely because I didn't know what is e-commerce, what is exports. I didn't know what is manufacturing, I didn't know nothing about the industry at all, and I've learned in the journey. And I also have, since I launched at the time when India had first time entered lockdown and first time was getting used to the virtual world of professional networking and working, I had to really invest a lot of time to learn myself of all aspects of business building, from compliance to e-commerce to the fundamentals of supply chain, so on and so forth, in a time when the world was itself finding its own feet. So I learned a lot, and I always try and pass these learnings on whenever I can. Yeah, simple as that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that intro, Manav. I think we will dive into the fireside now. Manav just wanted to open with the premise that Moksha Homes went global before it came to India, right? Which is pretty much opposite of what every founder here in this room is trying to do. Please walk us through that decision. Was it strategic? Was it circumstance? Was it a mix of both?
Well, I think it was fundamental to why I and Nimisha, my spouse and co-founder, started up. Like I said, the reality is that we were both in media. I was Sub TV CEO. She was heading marketing for Warner Media's TV channels. She was formerly a banker. We didn't need to start up. We were very, very happy in our corporate jobs. Uh, I was, you know, I've always been a curious person, and I had done up my house in Bombay. And in the journey, while doing up my house, also began studying about home decor as an industry by and large. I'll keep it very, very short, but the curiosity in me kept me going. to deep dive in the industry deeper, deeper, and deeper. And I learned a few fundamental points. And one of them was this, that India is extremely strong in home decor supply chain, extremely strong. Uh, we've got companies like Wellspun, billion-dollar companies, Trident, and I then read about dozens of companies. I now know hundreds of companies, and I mean hundreds, right? Which are to the tune of 50 to 2,000, 3,000 crore revenue. And they all supply home decor to the West, B2B. And I was surprised to learn that none of them has worked in a focused manner to launch an Indian brand,
Yeah.
right? Uh, I come from, my father was in the Air Force, so I'm a little bit more patriotic and Indian than perhaps somebody else would be. I'm not judging anybody else, but I know I'm a little obsessively patriotic. And I've seen how China, we all have seen how China, once it learned manufacturing, also learned to build brands. And the one thing I thought I know how to do, what to do, and how to do is how to build a brand. And I told myself that I want to build a Indian brand banking on India's strength, uh, in the West. And textile is a great space to be in because we are very strong in manufacturing and supply chain of textile. And so we launched Moksha. So going West was fundamental to our core passion and belief here before going to India.
Very interesting. On brand building, I would like to double click on that, right? Like, how do you build trust in a market or build a brand in the market where you're a complete stranger, you don't have any reputation, any reviews, no word of mouth? How do you even begin with this cold start problem?
Let me start by saying this that I don't think I've built a brand yet, and I think I'm probably a decade away, if not more, from building a brand because just having a name, having a logo, and having sales volume and having growth, which is something which might look good in Excel sheets, is still not good enough to call yourself a brand. Yeah, brand is something when you can hope to stop spending marketing and still do a lot of sales and still get growth at least for some time. When
Yeah.
people start talking about you to somebody else at scale is what I would call a brand, and we're a while from there. Uh, so yes, I'm not a brand yet, but I hope we're on path to being a brand eventually. If this rate goes on for a decade more, probably we'll get there in the US at least to begin with.
Right.
Uh, Now, going to question, how do you build a brand in a Western market? There are two things here. Uh, one is going through the fundamentals of brand building, knowing your consumer, knowing the insights, knowing what you're offering, what's your proposition, why you're differentiated, what is the USP, why do you stand out, right? Putting all these basic brand building blocks together in one place together, which is also what we went through. But I think a little bit more about you knowing or you having a certain unique way of building it, which no marketing guru can tick off the list. And probably once we had the insights in place, there were some fundamental strong belief points that we thought are very important, the way we want to communicate ourselves.
Right.
And we stuck true to those despite a lot of marketing gurus telling us that it's not going to work. We stuck true to those and went on with our journey of building a brand in that manner. We'll talk about it. We'll unravel it as we go along a little bit more. Don't want to overload my first go with you. But yeah, that's how we went about by fundamentals of consumer insights, market awareness, but a lot of passion and your own unique way of telling out your story is how we went about.
Can you give us an anecdote where market insights played a role in helping you bag a big customer, helping
Yeah,
you?
so this was 2018 and 19 when I spent about a year and a half, 2 years researching the market. I did not launch in a rush, right? Uh, and I realized that home decor. So if I take a step back, I realize that home decor in India does not offer much in a sustainable or eco-friendly space. While doing up my house, I looked at Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Calcutta, well beyond, and the best I could find was cane chairs and a few more of that kind. And for me, that was not just something that you want to put in your house, to be honest, right? And then I wanted to really do up my house in a sustainable manner, and I began looking at West, and I realized in the West too there was not much to be offered. At that point of time, I asked myself out of sheer curiosity that does home decor not need to be sustainable? Is the impact not large enough? And so I began researching and I realized how large an impact home decor has as a whole on making the planet, a little bit more harmful than it should be. And this is 1819, where the echoes of sustainability, of planet friendly were far louder than they probably are today, to be honest, right?
Right.
Uh, Probably, I'm not saying they've faded away, but they probably are today. They were far louder then, yeah.
Right.
And I asked myself, is home decor not relevant at all? Does not need to care about those aspects. And I began looking at data, and that's when I learned that off home decor, textiles is very, very harmful, extremely harmful. Uh, and it got me curious that why is textiles so harmful? So I began reading about textiles a lot more.
Right.
Uh, and on home decor, to be honest, I could not find much data out there. So I
Mm-hmm.
began looking at the closest fashion of textiles, closest neighbor of textile, which is fashion, garments as a whole. And I wasn't surprised to learn how harmful textiles, both home decor and fashion, together cause to the planet. In fact, textiles are probably the second most harmful industry for the planet after oil. But if you read up, there's not much about it online at all. And what surprised me then that two very large global brands, Zara and H&M, when I went to their websites, they were talking about completing their journey on sustainability by 2030 or 28 or about. And this 2018-19. So any brand that talks about 10 long years of journey is not talking about it in a very purposeful manner. I went to IKEA in Bombay and had a look at some products over there. And there were some tags on bed sheets saying sustainably built and less harmful for the planet. When I picked it up, the lines that it read was that our bed sheets use less water compared to others. Now, for a data point, when we all wear one plain white cotton t-shirt, it's important to note that a simple plain white cotton t-shirt wastes around 3,000 liters of water before it gets to you. And I'm saying wastes, right? It's not recycled, it's just wasted completely. So bedsheet a lot more, naturally, a lot more, about 10,000 liters. And when an IKEA says that they waste less water compared to other bed sheets, they were non-committal in how much less. Even if you were one drop less, you're being truthful to your claim, right? By making it non-measurable.
Yeah.
I then realized that the same uh, approach to sustainable claims or eco-friendly claims were being made in the West far more aggressively across multiple brands and for home decor even more so,
Mm.
right? And that's a country, the US, for example, brands like Patagonia have been built over the last 30, 40 years on being authentic to your claim of being planet friendly. Because people
Mm.
respect that and value that, even in times when the planet was not talking about being earth friendly or sustainable, right?
Right.
So I realized that there's a commercial opportunity as well. And we said we'll be very, very true to our purpose here. Very, very true to our purpose. An example being in the West till date, we've not even sold a single cotton product here in the US or other markets that we are in, right? And not to forget, India is a cotton country because I'm yet to find conviction in cotton as a earth-friendly product. A lot of brands in India sell cotton as natural. And underlying fact is that even oil is natural, right? It's
Yeah.
how we process natural products is
Yeah.
what can make it friendly or unfriendly. Yeah. And therein lies the story. So natural is not always earth friendly. And you know, the insight was that consumers care about sustainability and eco-friendly. And the
Got it.
awareness and research was that what's happening is not truthful enough. Somebody else can be a little bit more truthful. And just by doing that, I'll give an early example right now. Like 4 years back, I got an email, which claimed to be from the beverage company Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And it said that 4.5, 5 years back actually now. And it
Mm-hmm.
said that we are doing up a new private corporate jet. And for that, we want to use Demoksha. I thought fraud है ऐसे कोई मेल नहीं आते they'll steal some money out of us है बकवास कर रहे हैं but her name was there, her name stop surname, right? So I went on LinkedIn and she actually was there and I then connected with her. And for 4.5 years now, Coke Private Jet uses demoksha, right? And
Wonderful.
that's and by the way, we do not sell B2B. We've not made a single B2B pitch as yet, nor do we intend to in the near future. All right. They found us. And I don't know how they found us. Probably that's what they call word of mouth is. And since then, Coke Private Jet, now New York Stock Exchange, NYSE Private Jet,
Right.
Louis Vuitton Cafe, Louis Vuitton events across many countries. I could go on so many multiple billionaires yachts. They all use demoksha, right? And that's only happened because we're very, very true to our purpose here. Very, very authentic to our purpose. That's how we combine, consumer insight with a market gap of being authentic, to be honest, right? At a very structural, fundamental level, we built new tenets of our sustainability and eco-friendly, what we call earth-friendly.
Yeah.
We built new tenets for ourselves and
Right.
stuck true to it, yeah, and also spoke about it a fair bit when we could, yeah.
Super interesting. It's very difficult to commit to the arc or the mission of sustainability without compromising on business or without compromising on certain other ideals. It's very difficult.
If I can interrupt here, I'm aware that my revenue could have been, I believe, 2 or 3x more if I'd picked up cotton because India is a cotton country, cotton weavers, cotton spinning, cotton manufacturers, cotton know-how in India is far greater. But we compromised the revenue opportunity to
Mhm.
be true to what we want to do is only one of the examples of what we had to go through to build our story here.
And I know a couple of sustainability brands in the audience today who are focusing on sustainability, circular economy. Brands who are here, feel free to talk about your experience building a sustainable focused brand. What are your challenges? Feel free to raise your hand, share your anecdotes. Just giving a quick shout out to these brands there. Okay, we already have one person raising their hands. Come
Hi,
on,
Ravi.
Ravi, tell us. Yeah.
Hi, Manav. First of all,
Hi.
awesome story, and really adds pride to what India is doing. My question was more about what is the material then that you really use in Demoksha? I mean,
Yeah, we launched with pure linen and hemp. I researched a lot on what is authentically earth-friendly fabric. See, now the reality is that the impact we make on the planet cannot be zero. If you want to make it zero,
abs
then live under a tree, cultivate your own food,
abs
and then eat what comes
yeah,
from above the tree and below the tree, yeah, right? And wear leaves
absolutely.
around your body. That's not going to happen, right? So you can reduce the impact. The challenge with linen in
True.
the West was it was very, very expensive.
Yeah.
And we told ourselves, how can we make linen products very cost effective and take the myth away of linen being, we're not cheap, by the way, but we're not
Mhm.
overpriced like many other brands also, right?
Mhm.
And so we went with linen and hemp and have then moved on to 100% recycled fabric. Now,
Okay.
now it's important to know that global recycle norms say that even if you're 5% recycled and 95% non-earth friendly, you can put on a tag of being recycled,
Okay.
right?
So all these stories about plastic bottle, t-shirts, and stuff like that probably are something like this.
Yes, that's right. But you can be only 5% recycled and 95% whatever else. And your
Oh,
tag can be same as mine where I'm 100%,
wow. Wow.
right? But we did not take these short measures at all. We stuck true to ourselves and we are only 100% recycled if you're not linen or hemp here.
Oh, lovely.
That's what. And
Lovely.
nobody forces upon us. We force
Yeah.
this upon ourselves, and it's very, very tough. Those who understand fabric and recycled fabric, it's very, very tough to make 100% recycled fabric, which is soft, malleable for many reasons. Yeah, it's good for rugs and all that, but not easy otherwise. Yeah.
Right. This is just a follow-up question. So you manufacture your own stuff or you get it done? And was there a huge capital investment involved in getting out of this journey? Because it's not something that you're picking off the market and selling, right? You're having to sort of really pioneer this effort almost in India, right?
Yeah. So I learned one thing that fabric at a broader level is commodity,
Yeah.
right? How you stitch it is the product. Right now, everybody can grow wheat, but there are brands that sell atta, for example,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
how you process your atta is what makes you the certain brand, right? For example, right? Or the kind of atta you pick up, and that's true for fashion as well, right? Zara is not a weaver, right? But they stitch the product. So we did not go into weaving. For weaving, we found people who wove for us under our guidelines, right? But we kept stitching to ourselves. And the objective of holding the entire supply chain post fabric was that we wanted to eliminate middlemen, yeah, right? And not go into the MOQ business at all, right? Uh, and we thus manufactured ourselves, which is the stitching part, which is in garments called garments, right? Garment stitching and home decor called made ups here. So we do made ups ourselves here.
So that's a separate brand.
No, no, no. So Demoksha Home stitches its own product. Fabric is made to order by our partners under
Okay,
our specification, our guidelines,
absolutely.
right? And on
So
our specification,
design and manufacturing is something that you do in-house.
not
That
of fabric, but of made ups, yes.
right. Okay. Sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Nikhil and Soumya have questions. Nikhil, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Manav, I'm Nikhil.
Hi, Nikhil. Hi, Nikhil.
I have a brand which is World of Perfumers. We are into perfume business. So I have like sustainability and eco-friendly very close to my heart. So what we have done, our all the packaging are craft based. So it's a recycled paper, craft based, and we are not putting any plastic component in it. So my question is, when you do organic stuff or things near to nature, there are certain trade-offs you need to do in comparison to other material. So a problem I'm facing is like uh, if you touch any from your wet hands to our packaging, it leaves a mark. To avoid that, I need to do lamination. And if I do lamination, it is not eco-friendly then. Again, there is a plastic component in it. So I'm sure you might have dealt such things wherein your eco-friendly compared to synthetic have certain trade-offs. So how do you tackle that, or how do you convince customer that it will happen because we want to keep it eco-friendly side, not experience side?
No, let me say two things to you here. One is that just today's day and age, and even when I started off, just not using plastic and using craft paper or whatever packaging that you use, right? Honestly, is not enough. You've got to, because बहुत brands कर रहे हैं ऐसे, बहुत सारे, right? You've got to
Mhm.
push the boundaries, really push the boundaries. All right. I'll give an example of we guys do, right? We had the same challenge that we cannot use plastic at all, right? We began with that fundamental base in our packaging. Now, almost every textile product has to be wrapped in plastic or it runs a risk of having stain on it, right? Even if brands do external packaging of paper or whatever else, inside they put plastic. Otherwise, it runs the risk of having stain on it. Yeah. And it travels a long distance from here to the US by sea, by air, warehousing out there. Amazon guys is distributing it, and paper can tear very easily, right? So we ran that risk. Yes, I'll come to that later on. But I'll say before that, what did we do in our packaging, for example? All right, and how do we push the boundaries? Now, one is yes, we use craft paper. We use paper packaging. Now, on paper also, we understood what kind of paper exists where. We landed upon a Russian craft paper. It's very expensive, but it's got some promises to it. Yeah. So all our packaging, which is the external box, is made of Russian craft paper. We went on the kind of dyes we use on it. Yeah. And many points we don't even talk about, by the way, at all. You can't talk about every small thing you do. That's stupid. All right. Uh, then inside a box, we have zero plastic. So zero plastic. And we initially ran the risk of it staining if the packaging tears. And we learned how to better our packaging quality, how to invest more in packaging that it does not tear in the journey of supply chain till it gets to customer's house. Then even our products, at most those days, even today, most brands, if they want to project themselves as sustainable, they get a jute ka rope, yeah, right?
Yeah.
And they tie a jute rope. It's easier, buy reels of rope. It comes very, very cheap. Just cut it, tie it, and move forward. It's easy to even loop the rope, yeah, right? We
Mhm.
realize that in fabric, on the sides, a lot of selvage is there by default. All fabric, if you've seen, have selvage, that putty on the side, which has to be cut out,
Correct.
right? I've not thrown a single inch of that putty in last 6 years out of my factory. We have different ways of using it. One of them is where there's a team of women that sit down and they cut the putty into smaller tapes. All right. They de-thread the putty with the scissor. so that it does not sprinkle the shreds out, right, on the fabric. And we use that to tie the loop on a product where people mostly use jute ropes. That's a lot of effort and cost into it, by the way. All right, and even storage cost, not just. It's easy to cut the putty and each day throw it off here, but store takes a lot of effort. All right, not just that, even those tags that come along with the product. We have some tags which tell our story or tell about the care values and all that, right? Even those tags, almost all brands use the plastic punch, if you've noticed, right?
Yes.
Almost all brands, right? Some brands have gone forward and they've dropped plastic punch, but they use a rope now to tie it. All right. But even that rope, if you buy more rope, you're adding on to the weight. I have a team that sits down and dethreads waste fabric, all right, and pulls its thread out. And with that thread, if the shirt you're wearing, I can dethread it right now, right? If it's cut piece, right? And that dethread cut fabric is then used to make a loop knot, and the hang tag is put in that. All right.
Wow.
And these are things we never spoke about ever. We did it because we challenge ourselves that how can we eliminate plastic or excess, right, from our supply chain, and how can we reduce waste also from a supply chain, right? And with time we realize customers are noticing it here. They don't need to be told कि देखो हमने selvage use किया है, देखो हमने वो कपड़े का dethread किया है, right? With time you start seeing it here. And I even today, after 6 long years, I don't know how to push it more. It's been consistent like that from day one. And thus we took 2 long years before launching to think through every single element that will be true to our brand for a long time to come. And that's what made our packaging authentically, as much as possible, eco-friendly or earth-friendly, as we call it, right? Now, so that's only a comment on not using plastic and not using and using paper. That's very basic today. How are you pushing the boundaries? Ask yourself that question here, right? Now, that's a market which rewards effort and quality here. It's very expensive to break into, very expensive to break into, because everybody in the world wants to sell in the US here. I'm talking about US right now specifically, because that is the biggest market, which you should try and go after, right? Now, your question was it leaves hand stains and all. Is that right? On the bottle?
Yes. So I got the answer. Like we have both set of people who appreciate that it feels complete raw packing, like raw paper. So they are happy with it. And there are times where people say ki it's a perfume. You spray and you put down back in the bottle. Your hands are little wet and you touch it, and from the light brownish it become dark brown. So it's visible that somebody had touched it. Even our label is craft label. Bottles we have kept very basic, which is the like closest to the waste, like less wastage. We don't do any fancy stuff. So our primary motive is to sell fragrance, a very good fragrance, in the least possible, as you said, most eco-friendly way we can sell it. So glass bottle is nothing, but we have to have it. There is no other option to it, alternative to it. Yeah. So sometime labels stain or the box stain, we hear from people that after multiple usage, your label is peeling off because of the wet hands we touch on it. So
Yeah.
so far we are into discussions. We are quite new brand. It's been only 10 months, and we are confused. Shall we do it a plastic lamination? Because then it loses the purpose if I do that lamination. Yeah, then to go with any label is fine.
Do you write on your box that it might stain and reason why? Do you write that down?
Yeah. Like we have mentioned to the people while selling from, we have offline stores also. So we tell people
Is it
that,
is it on the box that it might stain? Do you mention that?
yeah, no, on the box we are not mentioning. Okay,
No,
good point. Like we can mention on the
be
box.
honest and mention it. Yeah.
Got
Are
it.
you with me? Right? Be honest and mention
Yeah,
it that
makes sense.
we've chosen to be true to our purpose and we do not put plastic laminate on the paper. Be careful in use or it might stain. And a lot of guys might complain, but they don't matter. The ones who value what you're doing, right, are the ones you have to go after, yeah.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, but I think it's a valid point to write
there'll
on
be two kind
the
of guys
box.
correct, right. there'll be two kind of people who buy you. Some will buy you only because you're a good perfume, which you got to be, right? And
Yes.
some will buy because you're a good perfume and also value the little bit more effort you're putting in here.
Mm.
And they'll be okay with the stain then.
Get
And the
it.
second kind is what really matters to your life, because then they will talk about you. And that,
Agree.
do you know about the story of this textiles called Bleeding Madras? I'll tell you about
Sorry,
very
I'm not.
briefly. I'll tell you all about very, very briefly, and it might be an anecdote on what you can do to address your concern. So, true cotton when dyed always bleaches. All right, always runs color. It's not like polyester. वो रंग छोड़ेगा, right? So long back, 60 years back, somebody launched cotton clothing in the US. All right, and coined it Bleeding Madras. Right, but it was Madras in Chennai now, where it was dyed. Right, and made a statement that after every wash, you'll get a new tone of color from the same shirt. Yeah.
No, just a small addition to it.
Yeah.
What happened actually was the American guy got the clothes sourced from Chennai or Madras, and it was launched. And then when people actually watched it, they realized that it's bleeding, and people start complaining about it. It's a premium brand. And then the advertising agency, I think it was Ogilvy, they
Yes.
came up with this mastermind story saying, okay, you know what, let's do the spin on it and say every time you wash it, it's going to give you a new style,
New shade of
and
color.
let's
That's right.
market it that way. And then that
Maybe
became
I
like a
got a
big,
line also. Every time you touch
Right.
a box, it will look different.
yeah. You leave your,
Well,
you leave
you
your,
can't market your box, to be honest. That's not your story.
I mean, every time you touch this thing, you leave your imprint on it or something like that.
But the point is,
Your
think like a
memories.
marketeer. Think of stories to tell, right? Which should be true, by the way, right? So that's a country which welcomes such stories. Yeah, that's a country which has you know where somebody has made millions out of pet rock. If you know about pet rock, right? Somebody picked up stones, put in a box, and gave it some eyes and some hair and all that. Stones. All right. Read up on this. It's a case study. All right. And began selling it like a pet. And wrote the reasons why it's better than a normal pet, because don't have to walk it, does not sit in your house, does not need too much care, will not die of hunger. It's a great pet to have. And Pet Rock made millions. Millions. Read up, guys, on this. So that's the point. If you're going to a certain market, research the market first, not about your category, but the consumer. What works out there? What stories sell out there? So invest time and effort over there, right?
If,
If you want to
if I
build a
may,
brand, you've got to be a marketeer. To be a marketer, you have to know what sells out there. Look at 30, 100 years of stories out there, what's worked. I chanced upon many, you'll chance upon many yourselves. And then use that learning to advantage here. Go on, please.
if I may
Nice.
just add one or two small points to us.
Uh,
So
we
last,
will take the points a little bit later since we are
yeah,
halfway.
yeah, sure,
And
sure,
then
sure, absolutely, absolutely.
okay, we will take somewhere we will take questions in like 10 minutes later, maybe after we go through a little bit of uh business understanding from Manav. Manav, would love to understand your stance on pricing as a concept, right? Like, for example, you've been building across multiple markets, multiple platforms simultaneously. How do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
manage pricing without one market undercutting the other or creating customer confusion? What is your pricing guideline looking like?
Yeah. I think that's something that we learned at our expense insanely late, to be honest. But this is something that you should know. I'll tell you about our story. When we went in the West, there was an Etsy, there was an Amazon, there was a Wayfair, which were slightly easier entries.
Yep.
Not Wayfair so much, but Etsy and your own website and Amazon were easier entries. Walmart was a little bit more difficult, and Wayfair was a little bit after that. I think you met somebody from Wayfair now. They're
Mm,
far more organized today to take India to the West than they were when I started off,
right.
right? Mostly for home decor, Wayfair is. But there are, multiple dozen platforms. There's also eBay, which is trying very hard to take us on board right now. And there are few things you've got to keep in mind is that uh, one of the markets, Amazon, is the biggest market, but it doesn't mean that has to be a primary market. For a home decor guy, Wayfair could be the primary market. Many brands have been built from India. who made their own website a primary market, right? Are you playing the price game? Are you playing the product game? Are you playing the brand game? With that, your platform priorities might shift. But be aware that no brand likes, no platform, no enabler likes them to be overpriced compared to other platforms. And that's a very tough one to manage. Now, I did go on Walmart, but did not see much value came out of it. Initially, I did go on eBay and Etsy and everywhere, all right, when I first launched. And then I pulled back from a lot of them because each one takes an effort. So we got more Amazon focused. I'd studied launch strategies of Vadantis, of I think Play Shifu, is that the brand? Home town kids product brands, right? Learning products. And Wow Skin Science, three of them. And I learned they had all gone to Amazon first, then gone thereafter. So we soon enough narrowed down to Amazon and went only with Amazon first. And thereafter, when we went on other platforms like our website and other marketplaces, we learned the hard way that you have to really control pricing across platforms. And if at any time your pricing for other platforms gets lower than Amazon, I'm talking about more Amazon right now, but I'm assuming it'll be true elsewhere also, then your sales volume starts slowing down. So your pricing has to keep two things in mind. Obviously, one is what are your gross margins and what are your final selling price. I'll share in our case, it's over 80% gross margins, right? Despite the fact that we are extremely well priced and that we was achieved with extremely efficient supply chain management of a different level altogether. All right. Extremely level efficient supply chain management, right? And over the years in the US, I've taken my price point higher, higher and higher. And I've never ever felt my sales drop because of a pricing factor. Unfortunately, out of India, a lot of sellers pick on each other and take the pricing to the bottom, and that's the race towards the end. And a lot of sellers do multi-million dollars in Prime Day and all that by choosing lower price point. My advice is, friends, if you're in the US, even Middle East, to a certain extent, UK as well, other markets are too small, or I don't know what part much to talk about. I'm in Canada, I'm in Australia, but I'll not go into those much more. These are markets where you can command your pricing as long as you're going after the right consumer. And it's not about keeping price low to sell high, because Amazon will always say that. Keep your pricing in check, give more discounts to sell more. I have more than often seen benefits both ways, keeping pricing low and even taking pricing high, and does not impact my sales either ways. Right? Maybe it's true to my product. I'm not sure what will your journey be like. Right? That's one aspect. So do not be shy of taking pricing high if you believe your product has strength, or keep testing your product, taking the pricing high, as long as it's not unbearable for your customer and does not defile market logic. But in our case, by taking pricing high also, we're still very, very well priced compared to what others might sell for our products here. Right? That's one point. Second point is be extremely cautious of price variation, not just on upper side, even on the lower side, on all your platforms. Because one of them will see that you're cheaper somewhere else, and they will slow down your visibility and thus your sales. The challenge on some platform like Wayfair is, which I think is a fantastic platform for home decor, you must be there, is that you don't control selling price on a Wayfair. You will sell to Wayfair at a certain price, and they will choose the selling price. They'll often seek discounts from you also in the purchase price. So that's a tricky affair. There are ways to manage this. I can't share all in this brief call because it will become only about that, right? We can catch up if you want later on that separately. On pricing, it's a big important aspect. But if Wayfair starts selling below Amazon price, Amazon will slow your sales down. That's for granted. Yeah. That's a given granted. Yeah. Right? So be extremely cautious of this here at all times. Juggling between marketplaces is a very important task to take care of it.
Super crucial insight, Manav. I had one follow-up question before we open the floor again for audiences. You talked about having a very well-managed supply chain system, right? And right now you're selling across marketplaces, across countries, and each of them have their own fulfillment requirements, right? So
Yeah.
what's the operating model that actually works for managing inventory across these markets? What is your supply chain secret, rather, is the question.
May I just know how many of us are currently selling overseas of all of people, the people present?
Folks, can we have a quick show of hands? Almost everyone in this room has done a couple of shipments, Manav, barring a few.
And how many are in the US?
Again, a quick show of hands, folks. I do see a handful of hands raising up. Yeah, raised up.
So where are the other sellers? Which markets? So I'll just bring it to context then, yeah.
Does anybody want to unmute? And
For me,
Or
it
you
is UAE.
Middle East, all right.
I'm based in the UK, so UK at the moment.
Right.
Most of us sell domestically for right now, which is why
Okay.
we are on this program so as to try and help us go global.
Okay, good. Thanks. That helps, yeah. So I'll first talk US, cover a larger part over there, and then I'll talk other markets, right? Now, we've taken supply chain in phases where early on we compromised gross margins, or rather compromised net margins by sending a lot of shipments by air, which I'm sure you all will end up doing initially, right? And kept very, very low inventory in the US and learned how the consumer reacts to a product. And I think that's the right way of doing it. Some sellers I've known have sent large sea shipments and it's not worked for them. And they've sat on excess inventory. The last thing you want to do in your entire supply chain, entire sales journey, or online marketplace journey, or cross-border sales journey is end up with excess stock. It's the single biggest thing that can hurt your business. And that's true for even billion-dollar companies, that in their entire cycle of sales, if they end up with excess stock, a large volume of that, it can break their back. And as a small company, we cannot afford that. Yeah. So do not ever sell excess stock. The choice between stock out or excess stock, always choose the former, not the latter. Because if you stock out, it's a great space to be in. It's a notional loss, but excess stock, warehousing in the West is very, very expensive. Middle East, not so much. In the West, very, very expensive. The moment you pass the 3 or 6 month threshold, on Amazon especially, because Amazon will become your first go-to market in most cases. On Amazon especially, as you go excess stock, your sale rate will go down. The algo will say that it's not selling, show it less. Now, right, it's not selling, show it less. Your algo will slow your sales down and your stock out will stay constant and eventually your sales will stop or be very, very slow or cost too much to sell at cost per dollar for marketing here for PPC, right? So do not ever overstock. Always go under stock. If your business can't afford flight shipments, be patient. Let it go by sea. By sea, there are two models, FCL, LCL. FCL is full container load, and LCL is less than full container load. Send small shipments by sea. Be patient. Wait for a month and a half or two. 2 months will, in a lifetime of journey, will not impact you too much, right? Send a couple of small shipments backup pipeline if you have to, but never run the risk of overstocking. It will kill you, right? Read up on the risk of overstocking on Amazon as much as you can. Use chat GPT. Now it's so easy, to be honest, to get data. It was so easy, so difficult 6 years back, right? Read up on chat GPT, the risk of overstocking on Amazon, and do the numbers. It can break your back. It can shut your business down before it takes off. Yeah. And I know many in last 6 years who've had to shut down at least overseas vertical because of this one mistake. Yeah. Right. Uh, the second is that be aware that what sells in India is not necessarily sell in US as well. It's a very different market. Consumers behave differently. So it'll be a completely fresh learning at times for you. Not always, but at times for you. Right. Third is if you're selling in US on Amazon, just said that send one shipment and send a couple of more backups if you have to. by sea. There's a model called AWD. It has just got launched a couple of years back. It was not there in my time. I paid very high costs at times for it not being there. So there is FBA and there's AWD. AWD is a low cost back-end warehouse where your first shipment has to reach FBA to be sellable, and AWD can hold stock for you at a very, very low cost. Even if it stays there for 1 full year, it will not hurt you, right? You'll find some way of bringing it out if it does not sell on Amazon, right? Send your backup shipments to AWD only and let those drip feed to Amazon as it starts talking out, right? Just very, very important, fundamental in your business. Please stick to it. Yeah. Third is keep in mind that Amazon gains if you send inventory out there excessively because they have warehouse to fill up. Yeah. So they will make you sell more and more and more inventory, but do not fall for that. Yeah. All right. The third is if you're not selling on Amazon, selling elsewhere, then you'll end up using private 3PL partners. Again, they're very expensive. Understand what are the fundamental mathematics of storing your goods, because you might think that my goods have this much volume, but then they might allocate buckets per SKU, and in a bucket you might put a single unit as small as this, but they'll charge you full bucket, yeah, for one SKU. So understand the warehousing cost in the US for 3PL partners and fulfillment also, and spend a lot of time in understanding and breaking the cost metrics down and cost metric by time. If it doesn't sell for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, what will happen to you? And what's your worst case scenario? Because you cannot get the goods back, right? So I've just left some key words with you right now. Just put them on GPT. It'll give the answer to you, or we can catch up later on. But understand this is very, very important because the worst thing to happen to you is overstocking. It will break your back in the USA.
I will open the floor to more questions since we have touched upon some very crucial topics. Folks who have questions on their pricing, supply chain management, anything and want to weigh in, please raise your hands. Yeah, Soumya, go ahead. Go.
Yeah, hi Manav. Soumya here. I'm founder of Dwij. So basically, whatever you were saying so far about your 2018-19 journey is the same thing I went through in 2017. Like I did my master's from Germany in automobile engineering, but I landed up into textiles just because of whatever you said. So I can resonate a lot of things that you were saying. So at Dwij, we upcycle used jeans. Basically denims and used jeans, and like we like just 1 2 points that we have this philosophy of design for disassembly, where like nothing is going to be sandwiched with glues, and also like you understand, right? Like those are not recyclable. So the PU bags, which are like completely shown off as eco-friendly and all, are like a disaster, and people yet can't afford so much of plant-based. So this is like a in between situation where existing waste can be used to put, especially for bags. Like so we make bags mostly, and some part of home decor and hand embroidery, etc. So I have
Sure.
actually 2 questions. One thing is like, as much as you get involved as a founder to make things the perfect way, like we do low waste manufacturing, that means not a single chindi goes into landfills, just like yours, like how you're saying that every part is used for some creative way, right? So one thing is like when you keep doing, you're expected to do more and more. Like in the sense, especially for the export market, they want you to be perfect with everything from the word go. So 90% is not enough, 95% is not enough. Like just one example is like recycling, you have lots of certifications, but upcycling, you don't have any certification. So we sat with the Ministry of Textiles, and we have now they have a certification because of which we can at least say that these are authentically upcycled. So the very short first question is like, when you're expected to do more and more, that comes on the cost, right? So then where is that sweet point for exports, especially where you say that, okay, these are the main checks that I'm definitely going to do, and then rest whatever follows, if it fits in my economics, then it works. And a second, maybe after this, yeah.
No, go on.
Yeah, so the second question was also, at least in India, I see that there are some pin codes or there are some cities which you don't have to invest too much energy in speaking into what your product is. Like you just be there and they understand what you're doing. And in some cities, even if you be shouting at the top of your throat, they won't understand. So, do you know of any such geographies where you had to do least, awareness kind of thing?
Soumya, what do you sell on in the West, if you
Uh,
do?
In the West, we are placed on good market as of now, but mostly we have B2B in exports. Like
Yeah,
we are not doing so much of D2C right now. Yeah.
correct. So I figured that you are doing B2B, and because they are the ones who care about certification. B2C
Yeah.
customers tend to believe what you're saying and will also
Yeah.
see through if you're faking it. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
B2B is a very different market. Yeah.
Hmm.
The reason I launched Demoksha personally is because I saw everyone selling B2B only and not trying to build a brand. So, and I made a very strong claim that we don't sell B2B. Even if brands buy us or companies buy us, they end up paying B2C pricing to us. Yeah. Right. So, I don't see, for myself, this is not for you. I don't see any value in B2B sales, to be honest, because
For exports, you mean?
for
For exports
exports also.
also.
Yeah, not for
Okay.
myself. I'm not saying not for you,
Okay.
for
Huh.
myself. All right.
Huh.
Because I don't want to be in an industry where today I've got a great order and my revenues are very, very high, and somebody else undercuts me tomorrow, and then I have no margins, I have no orders. There's a lot of volatility in that area. So I'm not in that space at all. At all. And yes, B2B, you don't have a choice. In B2B, you will have certifications. If there's a cost, so be it, yeah.
Hmm.
Right. But I will not be an expert to comment on B2B. Uh,
Okay.
what do I do know they want certifications of various kinds, but I also know they're extremely price sensitive. For 10 cents or 5 cents or 3 cents more, they'll pivot your order somewhere else, yeah. And some new buyer
So,
will come in.
in our case, just the other point is like we never do the volume game, but the quality game where small businesses are more open to smaller MOQs, but they are ready to take risk along with us. Like we are trying to capture that kind of segment. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I mean, see, it depends what's your reason to build a company. There can be more than one. And one of them for me definitely was to build a large company, yeah, not a small one, no matter how long it takes. So in B2B, I understand if you do B2B, you want to be doing large volumes also, I believe, right? And it's a catch because when your volumes are small, costs are high. When your volumes go up, you can take cost lower also. It's a trap in that. Yeah. So how do you segue across that journey? But very honest,
Yeah.
Swami, I'm not a B2B expert at all. All
Sure,
right. I
sure.
don't want to say something out of a whim, which would not be true. What I do know is in B2C, customers don't want more, promise less, but be true to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in B2C, that's be authentic is more important than claim too much. In B2B, it's quite the inverse, where you have to claim a lot, right? And even the buyer is doing a job finally, he just wants to get 10-point tick ho gaye, and his
Yeah.
job is done, and then only he'll talk to you,
Yeah.
right? So it's a different world, but honestly, I'm not an expert in B2B. I would not want to comment on it. Yeah.
Sure. About the second question, like which geography you found least
Yeah.
to create
Now,
awareness. Yeah.
yeah. So that's a very definite skew on that. In the US, I'll tell you first, uh, it's the East Coast, New York, Florida, and California, which are very, very welcoming of new concepts, new ideas, uh, especially sustainability and earth friendly, right? And they also top paying markets. The mid, the heart belt, the Texas and these states don't care about earth friendliness too much. They're big markets though, but they're very, very different. I had one advantage. I'd done a company in the US from 10 to 12, a startup in the US for 2 years. So I knew the markets at a surface level from a media perspective, not from home decor perspective. But our data also tells us that, right? Our research we've done in the past also tells us that. And Europe, I know, is far more authentic in its affinity towards sustainability. France, Germany, France especially, right? But they're far smaller markets to get into. Our point was very, very clear that US is 4.2% of the world population, but 40% of the global home decor market. And we had to start there first here. Also most expensive and most difficult. So we had to start there first. So Europe, I know, France is extremely welcoming of sustainability, very supportive of small businesses at a B2C level. I'm not sure B2B, right? Of small businesses. UK has a dichotomy in it because UK and Canada have dichotomies because Canada is not a very lucrative market at all. All the money is in US, to be honest. UK has money, but the population is very, very fragmented towards, you know, those who are authentically English and those who are migrants out there. And how do you go after which consumer is a challenge over there. But when you find the right consumer, they also pay you a premium for being true to your promise here.
I mean, just last one follow-up thing, that you also sell in India or only the exports?
We've just launched India 1 year back, but our India model is completely different from the US. There's no commonality. In India, we do customized curtains here. We
Okay.
are, yeah, we are not at all doing what we do. In the US, we manufacture goods, put them in warehouse and sell. In India, we get customers first, get order first, then manufacture customized curtains. There is no correlation in our India and US business except the back-end supply chain of manufacturing here.
Because what happens often with us is, like in India, we can only price our products at a particular price point because every gully nukkad has a tailor, and people just assume that they can make bags out of this, but it actually doesn't happen. So when we were doing the D2C strategy, the problem was that people end up again coming back to, like, domestic websites also to see that what kind of VPNs and are so common. Like how you are doing it, like we'll have to figure out completely two different models so that there's no clash between the two.
See, very true. I mean, the reason we have not launched, let me say this, that I launched India only 1 year back. That's 5 years into our journey. All right. And for a long time, I have investors also, who kept saying India launch karo, incremental revenue aega, right? But incremental was never good enough. And I also knew that the model that we follow, products might vary, but the model that we follow, end to end, if it's pre-made up model, India is a very, very price sensitive market, right? And there was not a story I could create for India if it was not sustainability. And India does not care about sustainability. We're far behind in our needs and wants and desires, and Maslow's hierarchy, whatever it is, right? So, so we did not launch in India for 5 long years. About 3 years back, I found an opportunity of what I think can be a scalable journey in India, backed on our supply chain strength and not product strength. Not,
Yeah.
I mean, pre-customer supply chain strength, not post customer, right? And which is manufacturing and textiles and so on and so forth. The fact that a Louis Vuitton and a Coke and so many, so many billionaires yachts, and they all come to us because we can also create, besides being a good story, we've also learned to craft fabric in a manner that we believe most don't, right? We believe at least that. We're fooling ourselves to believe that, right? And in this foolish belief, we said we can also create value in customized products at home here in India, because that's where the premium lies. And curtain is a large part of that, right? On the back of a factory and a talent pool in a factory. And that's what we went with finally, customized curtains in India. So it's very, very different, yeah, than the US.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Vishal, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Manav. It's been long.
Yeah, long time. How are you?
Yeah. I have closely worked with Manav. Like I have seen his journey very closely, and it's been a coincidence that when I got a cohort and then I received and I saw Demoksha and Manav is coming, it was a great. So yeah, and I'm following his footsteps alongside. But now I didn't got a chance to ask you like why did you choose first a marketplace then compared to the website? Because many a times I have seen that just like you sell a table linen and then people come to the website and they go on to Amazon and search table linen. There are so much of options and they can it becomes very commoditized product on marketplace compared to your website. So what was the thought process? Because then back then there was no tools, nothing.
Yeah.
Why the idea struck that okay, I will go with the marketplace and then I'll see that if the website is working or not. Like
There were three primary factors for that. One was that I researched brands before us, not in home decor, but other categories who've done well in the US. And I mentioned
Mm-hmm.
Wow's Kid Science, Wadham Teas, and this educational learning toys place. I forget their name right now, sorry, right? And they had done extremely well in the US, and their playbook was that they went on Amazon first, learned what sells on Amazon, and then they took it to other channels of sales, could be offline or whatever else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, so, and with that research and study, simple study, we also learned that let's first learn to sell where the customers come
Mm-hmm.
and learn to sell profitably where the customers come. It'll be very cluttered, but that's a good challenge to take up because can you sell in a cluttered market?
Okay.
In a market where consumer is very cost sensitive, you know, if we can do well out there, our own platform can certainly shape up much better. That was one point, right?
Got it.
That's the second point, sorry, right? That, if for a want of a better example, if I'm selling vada pav and I put up a stall in Dadar station and more customers end up buying my vada pav in Dadar station,
Yeah.
right? Regularly over a period of 1 or 2 years in Dadar station or Churchgate station or wherever from a Bombay context, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
any other busy street in the country in any busy marketplace in India, right? Vada pav or jhalmuri or whatever people sell in their cities, right? But if despite having 1,000 more sellers, if in that busy market street people will queue up for my vada pav, right? Then I
Okay.
know I can
Mm-hmm.
also launch my own outlet, yeah, right?
Okay.
I took that logic home basically, and that was one point. So the second point was that. Third point was, let's be very, very honest, that it costs a lot of money to bring a customer to your own website, yeah. To
True.
divert traffic from somewhere onto yours is a very, very high cost model, and we did not want to engage in that for a very, very long time, right? We were
Okay.
first
Mm-hmm.
very, very clear. We wanted profitability, we wanted scale, and before all that, we wanted very, very high proof of product with the customer that yes, it works here, what they call PMF. But more
Yeah.
than PMF, we wanted PMF at scale, yeah, right?
Okay. Okay.
Before going elsewhere. And these are three fundamental factors why we went on that, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, yeah. See, there have been brands like Dr. Vaidya's and a few more back in the days where they could launch on their website first. But today, go on Amazon.com and write ASHW and Ashwagandha will auto prompt, yeah,
Yeah. True.
on Amazon US,
True.
right?
True. Ashwagandha. Mm-hmm.
Will auto prompt, yeah,
Yeah.
right? So times were different 10 years back, yeah, where you could still try something else. But after, I think, even by 18, it was too late to try and launch on your own website because think of anything, it's on Amazon, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
right, a few more fundamental facts, by the way, that Amazon is 40% of global US market. Today, if the intent to purchase is the highest, you're on Amazon first and not on Google, right? So all these factors matter, yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Shruti, go ahead with your question, please.
Manav, so looking back, where did you waste the most marketing money? So looking back in hindsight, that you thought should not have been done marketing wise?
Honestly, I did not waste too much marketing money. All right. We were profitable year one, we were profitable year two, we were profitable year three. Something else set us back, which was that for some reason unknown to us, even unknown to Amazon, our products stopped showing on Amazon. Yeah. All right. And for 6 long months, even Amazon could not solve it. And I knew everybody top to bottom not bottom, but top for sure in Amazon in the Indian setup. I was a part of, I was in the first cohort of Amazon's Propel program, which is similar to Rise right now, right? We were only 7 months on our journey then. And thereafter, I was on Amazon's panel, right? Of Propel for next 3 seasons, yeah, right? I was the only founder who was on that. And so, despite all the help, for some reason, our product stopped showing on Amazon. And that hurt us very, very bad, where we had to market a lot more to get noticed, but our products were not showing any which way, or they were showing intermittently. So we did not lose too much marketing money. But still, if I push myself and ask myself, what could I have done better? Is that I think we could have gone to other channels far sooner than what we did, because marketplaces in most cases are forever. As long as you keep spending, you'll keep selling it, right? No matter how strong your organic search is, it's never large enough to build a business on the back of that. That's why when Pepsi and Coke still keep giving ads, yeah. They stop giving ads, it'll stop selling, yeah. Right? So I think the one thing we could have done is go to other platforms far sooner. Uh, which probably was not a waste of marketing money, but our efforts should have been optimized better, I think, yeah, more than money. But I don't think we ever wasted our money too much, yeah. I'm
And
very
what are
cost
these?
conscious,
Sorry,
yeah.
what are
Sorry.
these other platforms that you're referring to?
In our case, it could well be a website, it could well be Wi-Fi, it could well be, there are a few more home decor platforms specifically, yeah.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
Arpan, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Manav. This is Arpan, and just wanted to ask, like, I'm into lab grown. I was later. I joined after 30, 40 minutes, so I missed initially. I don't know what was the chat, so I might ask a question which you've already replied. So,
Sure.
we are into lab grown diamond jewelry from last 4, 5 years, and we have our own website, and we get the lead generation. Then the conversion happens offline only. The people come to our retail store, and sometimes they do video call from Delhi or other part of the city, and from Kolkata, and the lead happens. Like, I mean, the conversion happens. But we haven't tried. We have a website, e-commerce website on Shopify, but we haven't tried marketplace like Amazon, Etsy, or eBay, anything. We didn't try. So our GP, if I say like between 30 to 40%, should we try on the marketplace or no? With this GP,
I think yours will be a high value product, right?
high value. So my AOV is between 1 to 1.5 lakh rupees.
हाँ तो Amazon तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं ना. I mean, it's not a place for you at all. In fact, you'll devalue your product, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you reach a lakh and a half, even to be honest, 10, 15, 20,000 bucks minus electronics, you know, I don't think marketplaces have any relevance for you at all, yeah. Shopify is the way to go, in my opinion, for high value products. Even in our case, we've got products which when we launched were as low as $14, as high as $120. And now we have products which are as low as $25, what was maybe $20, which was 14, 6 years back, right? And 160, $180. And we've seen that on marketplaces, it's very tough in the cross-border also. I'm not sure how India is. In cross-border, it's tough to sustain low-cost products. And customers, at least in the West, are very comfortable buying high-value products on your website, yeah. Right?
Okay.
India, I mean, I do have friends who do lab-grown diamonds, a very close friend of mine, as a matter of fact. Uh, I mean, that's fine reputation building, right? People will trust you to a very, very high degree before making a purchase, I guess, yeah. I
So,
mean,
but in international, how would I generate a trust? Like, suppose if I want to send in UK, so we have a client, we get the lead generation by Instagram, Meta ads. Through we get a client from UK, we get a client from US, from Australia. But like one week one order, second week two orders, just one two. We don't get volume. So
hmm,
and exactly what you said, that trust. So
hmm,
when I put my jewelry on Etsy or eBay, the trust is already generated. But when I do
hmm.
marketing, suppose if I do online marketing, when I'm in a Meta ad or Google ad, whatever in cross border, how would I generate a trust? They won't trust me, na?
No one trusts you day one, yeah. Trust is comes at a cost over a period of time, right? I mean, who trusts you day one? You'll have to sell, maybe you sell for profit, maybe you sell for loss. Over a period of time is, see, I'll take a step back. Why did a lot of Indian businesses who are in textiles do great job and great revenue? I know companies with I think 3,000 crore revenues exporting B2B, all right. But they've not even tried B2C, or when they've tried to stop completely. And the reason is, in most cases, is because in B2B, you're still making some money while earning trust with the order आया तो बनाएंगे नहीं तो नहीं बनाएंगे, right? But in B2C, you are taking the risk on your shoulders. You will make the goods, you will spend marketing money, you might never get an order. right? And most people I've met in my life in the textile business don't like to do that, right? Now, I don't know how lab group diamonds are, but if you want to build a global brand, if you want to build scale and build a, I don't know, 50, 100, $200 million business or more, I'm not sure what your aspirations are, right? Then what risks are you willing to take for that? You with me, right? I mean, is it the risk
Right.
of marketing money? Is the risk of, loss per unit? I don't know what allows your industry or your, wherewithal or your whatever else it might be, right? Realities come into play as well. I don't deny that.
True, true.
But while we made profit all 3 years, I was prepared to make a loss for a while to come, right? Because I wanted to build a large company, and I didn't think that for every unit I sell, I'll make 10 rupee profit here. I was
True,
okay
very
making
true.
100 rupee loss also.
True.
So you can't get trust on day one. But if you can acquire 1,000 customers in the UK and 100 of them or 50 of them give reviews to you, right? Trust will eventually is a
Build.
byproduct of sustenance over a period of time.
True, very true.
It's,
Agree.
right? So, but there's a cost to that.
No, I agree with you. And exact what you said, I was into B2B till
Mm,
last year. So,
mm.
tension free, sleep properly after to D2C. Good margin, no wonder. The great margin. Brand is increasing. But again, the sleepless, can't sleep well
Yeah,
properly at night and all that thing is
yeah, yeah.
true, true. I
B2C
agree
is
with you.
so I met so many B2B sellers in textiles and now beyond also. It's a very different gene code, yeah. बहुत अलग DNA करना पड़ता है अपने आप का.
True, very true. I totally
No?
agree. D2C to a
I'm
different
not,
ball game.
yeah, I'm not saying one can't do both. Obviously, one can do both, but you have to be prepared for having the two hats to wear continuous, two DNAs in your body continuously. Yeah.
I agree, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Manav, we are 12 minutes over time, but if you're open, we can take some more questions, please, because
I'm open.
audience
I'm
is
open. No
raring
problem.
to. Awesome.
No problem.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, Manav, Nikhil this side.
Hi,
Uh,
Nikhil.
I run a conscious clothing brand, and my question is around the product assortment, right? So, given how the clothing industry works, you end up having a lot of SKUs, right? And then to maintain the inventory for all those SKUs and the colorways and all of that, it ends up being a lot, right? So my question is that, especially when you are venturing into a new market, would you rather create a smaller assortment or, build around one hero category of product? Like maybe it could be a shirt or a dress or, a particular kind of textile like silk or linen or cotton, whatever. Or do you suggest to have a wider catalog so that, you can have like a wider interest in return, which I'm not sure if it always works like that. But yeah, I mean, what would be a good strategy, especially when you're exploring a new market? And right now we're doing only made to order, but then, eventually, as the scale comes, I think the model also need to evolve around it. So, but yeah, I mean, just for context, yeah.
Nikhil, are you made to order India or cross border?
Across border as well. So, I mean, we mostly sell via our own website, and we also work with a few online marketplaces, not Amazons and all, but like smaller marketplaces. And we work with some retail stores across different parts of the world, one in Australia, some in South Korea, and so forth and so on.
And
US
if
is,
you launch cross
sorry.
border, where do you intend to launch? Have you thought
So,
about
I
that?
mean, of course, like you said, that US is the biggest market. We've been getting a decent traction. I mean, at least from our point of view and from the scale that we operate at. And we have had a really good feedback. We have seen repeat purchase from the same customers, and these are not just NRIs, but also like Americans who have Native Americans and people who have been there. And so, I mean, of course, US is something that we want to now start building towards, apart from the D2C orders that we get directly from our website and, the marketplaces that we are on. So, yeah.
That's an important point you said, yeah, that a lot of people do cross border but target NRIs.
Yeah.
That's very, very different, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You can sell spices to them.
Yeah.
That's very different. It's a very small diaspora to go after, easy to market to. though competitive, but easy to target too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
totally.
that's very different. We were very, very clear that we were going after the mass US market,
Yeah,
not as
yeah,
in price point mass, but mass as in the entire US market,
yeah,
not diaspora. And that's what I
right.
hear you want to do one day,
Yeah,
right?
agree. Yeah.
Have you researched on clothing or fashion brands that have taken off in the US in the recent past 2, 3 years?
Not really. I mean, I'm just started doing to do that.
I'll tell you a few cases, yeah. I'll tell you a
Hmm,
few cases, right? So somebody launched shoes. I forget the names. If you research these on GPT or elsewhere, you'll get the answers. And called it honest pricing,
okay.
right? And in that, it's very premium. It would cost like 2 or 3x of what a Nike might. Though they're formal shoes, they're not sports shoes. All right. But in that honestness, they showed what every line item went to. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And they went to the uber premium market, yeah, right? And are killing it right now. Look up the brand, you'll find it on Google somewhere. All right. Uh, Someone launched t-shirts, very moderately priced t-shirts, from a US market perspective, not an India market perspective, right? Launched t-shirts and simply said, round neck t-shirts, yeah, and simply said, we have a better fit here.
yeah,
And it's $100 million revenue in 2 or 3 years' time, right? So it's not about uh, anything else. It's about what are you promising and are you true to that or not here? And back to your question, your promise must be true first.
right.
Find a proposition that stands out
Hmm,
and don't go with too many SKUs, right? Sell two kind of shirts and jeans if you have to, but those two kinds gotta be authentically
yeah,
differentiated and purposeful. Yeah,
right.
just being conscious is not enough. It's
No, that's right, right. Yeah,
that's just hygiene.
yeah,
So to answer
yeah.
your question, don't go with too many SKUs,
Hmm,
right? Not for a very long time to come till you're a 20 crore company, at least. All right. And if you're in the US, that is. India, I would not know, right? And uh, very few SKUs, but have a very clear purpose of why you're selling here. That's
right.
when conscious is not good enough here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hygiene now. That's hygiene now.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, that's bare minimum that you have to do. So product
Yeah.
has to be the differentiator, which for us is it's all of it is like Indian hand woven textiles. So everything is made on the loom, whether it's silk or linen or cotton. So, and of course, quality is non-negotiable. So, I mean, these are a couple of things that we have as
Yeah.
the brand differentiator along with the
Yeah.
pricing. So, yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Good. Yeah.
Ravi, you have a question, please go ahead.
So Manav, in terms of fulfillment, do you at all ship directly to the customer from India for anything, or it's all set up in warehouses in each geography and fulfilled locally?
We we did go through about 2.5 years or 2 years about of delivering ex India.
Okay.
A lot of SKUs that were high price point, high value, high AOV, uh, but had not reached scale. In our scale up journey, we fulfilled ex India. We used FedEx and DHL and the works for that, and the likes for that. And it's a great model to go with if your AOV can afford it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's
Right? So we had a hybrid model for a while, but we're now going back to 100% X localized fulfillment, it is US fulfillment, because
What about the UK, for example?
we're going back to almost all our markets purely. See, we go through phases in a company, right? You want to
Mhm.
launch some, test some. So test is a great when you're testing something, especially high OV products, it's good to test ex India fulfillment.
Yeah, yeah,
But it obviously eats into your margins big time
yeah.
and also
That's the
slows
reason why
sales.
you're looking for a high order value products, so that the cost of it can absorb the logistics
Yeah,
side of
that's right. That's right. Because if you're below 80 odd dollars, $90 today, you cannot fulfill ex India
it. Hmm. Hmm.
for every order. It's very difficult to. right? You will make a massive loss per unit. So you've got to be in a $100 plus area to fulfill X India. I know people who do it, but for us, scale is very important here. So
And you
we
all,
can't,
yeah, sorry, please.
we don't see ourselves fulfilling 10,000 units X India. And why even do that when you know there's a repeat purchase, there's a
Absolutely.
purchase pattern to it. The moment there's a purchase pattern established, fulfill X local country. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Just one more thing. I mean, do you, sort of add shipping as a separate cost in your website, like, or because I think I noticed something when I was looking at your website. I just wanted to check with you, what your how do you handle shipping fees?
Whenever you say, so it's very simple, right? Charge $100 and absorb a shipping cost, or charge 60 and say I'll charge 40, or charge 80 and say I'll charge 20 for shipping, right? I have not seen the latter work at all. अब 100 charge कर लो, बोलो shipping free.
Exactly.
The US works better, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You keep the price low and shipping on top. I've
Absolutely.
somehow seen it impact sales, slows down sales, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, around the world, UK also shipping is free?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the cost, but it's free on the face of it.
Okay. Next.
Do we have any more questions or should we round up the call? I hope everyone has their questions answered. Okay, Shruti has another question. Our questions are not ending, Manav.
So
This
we
has
have time.
gone for 2 days. Okay,
So
Shruti,
Morning.
you can take
I'll
one
be quick.
question.
So if you started your brand again today, what would you deliberately do much later than you did the first time?
What would I do much later than I did the first time? So when we were scaling up very rapidly in the first 3 years, and very profitably in the first 3 years, we gave ourselves extremely aggressive targets of what we want to achieve in each passing year, because that had become a habit for us now. And in doing that, we expanded our SKU offerings here substantially, right? Unfortunately, at just that point of time, our product stopped showing on Amazon also. When I look back today, I would have probably taken on lesser of a growth target, but not expanded my SKUs so much in the third year also. Yeah. All right. So the finer that you can keep your spread of SKUs or products while scaling, the better. And that probably is true for a lifetime now. And the more I've spoken to people about this mistake, in retrospect, is a learning that do not have a desire to scale on the back of launching 100 more SKUs or 200 more SKUs. Yeah. We did that 3 years late, but even that I think should have not happened when I look back today. Even if the tech issue had not happened, it would have not been a wise thing to fall into. Yeah. In fact, you've got to scale very slowly on a spread of SKUs and not scale rapidly on the by widening your SKUs. Yeah. Your core must take it to a very large scale, at least in the US. I would not know India, right? Because it's a very large market here. People want to spend like insane out here. So if you're doing, say, even 100 crores and you want to get to 200, and you say, okay, now I have 100 SKUs, I'll launch 100 more. I would say don't go for 200, go for 120, right? Let your 100 first get you to 120, or say, okay, I'll launch 5 more and now get to 140. But don't hope for 200. When you're doing a long-term journey and you want to build a fundamentally strong business, extra 2, 3 years don't matter. It's a drug. It's a drug that we want to feed to ourselves, that growth number. Don't chase that. Yeah. Think of the downside always. So don't scale up your SKUs too much. We did that in the third year, but soon after we pulled back a lot as well. And that's worked enough. Pulling back our SKU count has worked in our favor finally. And we're back to insane growth here.
Shruti, hope that answers your question.
It does. I just a small follow-up. Why was that the case? Was it just that you were spread too thin production wise, or was it what else was that? Why was that the case?
No, production is something we can handle. That's not a problem at all. See, the reality is that no matter how efficient you are, your most precious asset is your time, right? And no matter how large and good a team you have, even their most precious asset is time. And to market and build a product sustainably needs bandwidth, yeah, right? Mind and time, yeah. Time, space, and mind space, yeah. Right? Not money, right? Money is an easier commodity than mind space, to be honest. And in the journey of building every SKU, every product, there are downsides, there are challenges, there are unknowns. Like in my case, tech issue happened here. In somebody else's case, in my own journey, there's been that Suez Canal blockage happened, and it's been so tumultuous in the last 6 years, right, for everybody in the journey, right? And the war happened, and this happened, and that happened, and all the dynamics are manageable when your SKUs are have data, have sale data of past 3 years. So it's good to add a little bit onto it every time and keep scaling that, because challenges, unknown, unseen, unthought of, unheard of challenges will come down your path here. And at that point, if you have a strong core and a small new introductions, it's easier to manage here. If on a strong core you add too many new introductions, right? Say even 40% of your core, that's too large to manage.
Yeah,
So
got it.
be in the launch mode always. Because when I launched my business 6 years back, I launched with only maybe 20 SKUs. And that worked for me. Now the 20 today might become 100, 200,000, whatever it might become at time, right? But you initially launched 20 and you could handle 20 in the beginning, right? It's okay, launch 20 first, get the 20 new again to become strong. And then launch 20 more. 20 might become 30, it's a matter of saying. But you cannot handle beyond a certain level if you go at scale suddenly. Yeah.
Beautifully put. Yeah, thank you.
Lovely. Last call for questions. We're dangerously over time, but anybody? Okay, I think folks have enough to work with, Manav. I'll
Great.
leave.
I had a hard stop in 3 minutes too, yeah. So we're fine now.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have one last question before we obviously close down. What is the next chapter for Demoksha looking like? What are your next global ambitions, domestic ambitions? Would love to hear that.
Yeah, so for Demoksha, I think, like I said, in the third year, I went through some challenge. It took us a year and a half to solve the problem. All
Yeah.
right. And every war, every new thing that happens, Trump drops a bomb somewhere and impacts our lives. I did not know it's going to impact our lives so badly, right? But it does, to be honest. And we've got a US business in a very, very fundamentally strong stage. We're growing at 80% over last year in our sixth year of journey, which is a fantastic space to be in. So we plan to keep scaling up our US business profitably. But our greater focus is now in India. Look at demoksha.in. If anybody wants curtains in Mumbai to begin with, we are soon launching in Pune and Bhubaneswar also. We'll be glad to serve you. We are redefining how curtains are bought in the country, bought and sold in the country. It's a broken industry completely. And in simple line, we are building the lens cart of curtains here. That's the thing we're going for in India. And we are 1 year down, very, very tough to crack. There's a reason why there can be three Ubers and Rapidos and these quick service companies. There can be four of them, but there's just one lens cart, right? Despite lens cart being a great story, there's no second lens cart yet. Yeah. Why? Because customized at scale is very, 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 very tough here. Have people not tried customized at scale? They certainly have, but they would have not managed, right? And specs are customized at scale,
Very good.
right? And those who've tried have not got noticed also. We're trying that with curtains now in India, and it's very different from a US business. But I'm quite positive we are on a very fantastic path right now. So we are building the lens card of curtains in India.
Congratulations to you, Manav. We hope to regroup with you in a couple months, sit down with you and get a quick, insights about all your India building business in our next
Sure, yeah.
in our next cohort. Um,
Pleasure.
we are 30 minutes over time, so I think unfortunately I will have to put a stop to questions because
I'll answer.
this
Yeah.
has to end somewhere. But I will definitely be onboarding all of you onto the RISE community post, which you will get access to speakers like Manav. Manav is also part of our Manav. They will also onboard Manav as a part of our office hours platform, so you'll be able to get access to his time as well. Folks, please switch on your cameras before we call it a day. We would love to take a quick photo. It's something very interesting, and I would love to see everybody's faces on the camera.
While you turn the cameras on, I just want to say that I make conscious effort to give time because I think it's very important to transfer learn. There's no reason for us to make all our mistakes, and please pass on these little learnings out of your journey learnings to others as well, because this is India's story, India's time, man. It's time to build it, yeah, together.
Thank you so much. I think GRP could not have ended on a better note, Manav. I think it is India's time, definitely. Lovely. I need to see more videos. Vivek, Kelvin, Hitaki, let's see your faces, please. This just takes 5 seconds.
And Razorpay too, thanks so much, yeah, because I think one does not realize the effort you all put in to get this program into place. It's months of planning, uh, but I think the opportunity you sit on to get knowledge transfer in an organized manner to aspirants to build businesses is extremely valuable, often goes unnoticed, but I think keep going with it, yeah. And I'm happy to partner you in the entire journey ahead, yeah.
Thank you so much, Manav. Absolutely would not be possible without folks like you to make this happen. And thank you so much for always readily being available to do sessions for us every time I call you, just a call away. Thank you so
Have
much.
to give, have to give back, yeah. Have to give back, yeah.
Awesome. We have folks on call. Folks, we will do something very interesting. I want all of you to make a house like this because in honor of the Moksha homes.
Oh God.
Yes,
Yes.
and Manav, including you,
I'll
please.
make it to it. Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, and then I'll be taking a photo in 1, 2, 3, and everyone smiles. Works? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. I've gotten a photo. Thank you so much, Manav.
Thank you so much, yeah. Very
Have a,
sweet gesture. Thank
have
you
a
so
lovely,
much.
have a lovely rest of the day. Folks, please don't drop off. Rest of the founders, we have
Sign
something
out.
coming up for you. Manav, you can take your time back. I'm just stopping the other founders for something.
Sure. Bye all. Thank you so much. Yeah. Take
Thanks
care.
so much, Mana.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Founders, we are planning something very interesting for you, so please don't drop off. Then we will spend the next 15 to 20 minutes, and I know you've seen mostly me right now as the front facing, but we have and most of the RISE team here to welcome you into RISE community, the community which has managed the entire GRP cohort for you. We have Ishita, we have Arvind, we have Manik here. We will be onboarding you onto RISE Export Plus community, talk to you about what RISE actually means. I will be quickly sharing my screen and starting. Just give me quick heads up if you can see my screen, please.